So this video is about DART. And DART, for those who aren't aware, DART stands for Dallas Area Rapid Transit, which is the transit authority in Dallas. And if you didn't know, Dallas actually has the largest light rail network in the United States. But let's see what's going on. We're talking about money here. It's always about the money.
A North Texas lawmaker has filed a bill that would reduce what DART, Dallas Area Rapid Transit, could collect in taxes from its member cities. The cities say they want the money back to do what DART is not doing in their areas. DART says the loss in funds would be devastating. Fox 4's Sean Rabb joins us live with more. Sean.
Good evening to you, Clarice. In this proposed legislation, DART could lose about a fourth of what it gets in sales tax from its member cities. Now, not all of the 13 cities in DART's service circle, if you will, are balking at the dollars DART gets or how DART uses them. But if this legislation makes it through the session and becomes law, it would go in effect in September. DART delivers some 220,000 people on buses and trains to their destinations daily. The transit agency says proposed legislation that would cut by 25% what it collects from its member cities would mean changes that would go deep.
There would be significant impacts across the board to our workforce, as well as job access and the service levels that we provide.
DART's president and CEO Nadine Lee says up to 1,000 jobs could be slashed. For the passengers, it could take twice as long to get the bus or train you need.
We filed legislation. It really addresses all the cities that make up the DART system.
The bill to reduce what DART collects in taxes by 25%, written by State Rep Matt Shaheen, following non-binding votes by 6 of DART's 13 member cities to reduce what DART gets from them in sales tax.
All right, guys, so you see what's going on here. Basically, DART is funded by the cities that it serves. There's I want to say it was a 1 cent sales tax or 1% or something like that in the area that helps fund DART. And these suburban cities here, Plano, Irving, Carrollton, etc., they don't feel like they're getting what they're paying for with DART. So what they want to do is they want to take that money that they're paying in sales tax to DART and return it to their own coffers. Now, many cities across the country are facing budget deficits or shortfalls, so everyone's looking for a way to get more money. Now, 25% drop in service for this is huge. The first thing you're probably going to see if you use DART, the trains or the buses, you're probably going to see lower frequency, because to have higher frequency, you need to pay someone to drive these buses, to conduct these trains. So 25% is huge, but let's finish out the video.
The cities say what DART's providing doesn't match the payout. Shaheen points to Plano.
They tax their residents at 1%. 1% of that sales tax goes to DART. And that's about over $100 million that goes to DART. The problem is that the city of Plano, the constituents, only receive about 40% of that back in the form of services. So there's this net deficit that's been occurring for years.
The DART board had conversations about the various asks that the cities have, and the DART board ultimately decided that we would prefer to provide more services to our cities rather than give cash to the cities, and that we would be happy to work with our cities.
It's a difficult balance. We obviously are going to fight hard for the transportation authorities, but we got cities that are, arguing equity with regard to how much they're paying into the system.
Mike Morris of the North Central Texas Council of Governments says cutting funding would have unintended consequences.
We don't know what DART would have to do if it got a significant cut. If it does X, it may not have a lot of consequences. If it does Y, it could have horrible consequences. And I don't think any of the parties fully understand the extent of these potential consequences.
So the best solution is for DART and the cities to kind of work it out right here. And Mike Morris says that's what he expects is going to happen. He's going to get the Regional Transportation Authority involved and try to get everybody at the table and work it out here, not in Austin, not in front of the legislature. DART, by the way, is the big part of the game plan for next year when World Cup soccer comes to North Texas. At least it is right now with its current funding and current.
So wow, there it is, guys. It is always about the money. So basically these cities feel like they're not getting their money's worth. So they're talking about $100 million. And obviously they want that money to use it on other things, probably to use it on their roads. But this could have some dire consequences for the transit. And honestly, when the World Cup does come to the Dallas area, if the transit, it's already bad that Arlington has zero transit, not even buses. But if you don't have your transit in order when the World Cup comes, it's going to be pretty embarrassing for the city. But even though I spent a lot of time in Dallas when I was in Texas, I never rode on DART. Didn't need to. But if you guys live in the area, let me know what you think about the service. Is it like your typical American public transit experience, or is it actually nice? And now, with being Texas, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this bill, but we'll be keeping an eye on it to let you know if DART is about to change forever or if they work out a deal with the suburbs who want their money back. And actually, let me check Google and see if it shows DART on Google Maps. Get to this view, go into transit. Okay, it does. Okay, so you can see where DART has lines in the Dallas area right now. Everything converges in downtown. Plano, which is in charge of this, won their money back, is at the end of the line up here to the north. So it runs through Richardson. And I will say this about DART in this area, at least in Richardson and to a degree in Plano. These areas have been densifying. I saw a lot of large apartment buildings and stuff popping up around the light rail stops in these cities. And as you can see, it runs to the airport. And then it connects to Fort Worth, but this isn't DART. They have their own transit system. And it runs all the way up to Denton. Pretty sizable network, especially for Texas. Who would have thought, right? Largest light rail network in the country, guys. DART. So we'll see what happens. If they can't work it out, then it's going to Austin.